Hello and welcome to the Just Interesting live quiz with me, Martin, and
What?
Alex and I'm
confused
already. Yeah, me, Martin, and Alex and Robin. It's all gone wrong already.
Did you just mess up your own name?
I did.
I just said the
We've been doing this
same.
for too long.
It's
now.
me.
That was the awkward pause. My brain registered that I had said the wrong name, and I was like, "What's going on there?" You know, when you psych yourself up to say the right names. I'm going to introduce these people correctly, and then you say their name instead of your own. Well, welcome everyone to this flawless live stream. Yeah.
The good news is we've labelled this as Live Quiz 1. So anyone who is coming in fresh will think, oh, cut them some slack. This is their first time.
One, yeah. It's their first one.
They haven't been doing this for years.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, welcome one and all. Thank you for joining us. This is the Just Interesting live stream quiz, not the podcast episode. The podcast from now on shall be a separate video uploaded to our YouTube channel and, of course, to all podcast platforms of your choice as an audio version for you to listen to at your leisure. This next episode, we shall be discussing cryptids, mysterious cryptids. But that's another time. Today, right now, live on the YouTubes, we shall be doing a quiz after we have revealed facts that we've learned this week. And, of course, we have live viewers who can join us in the chat and comment and, give answers in the quiz. Yeah, it all sounds good. So, wow.
I just want to address some of the comments right out of the gate. Captain Wonky says, is the quiz always going to be a Friday now? And the answer to that is a definitive no.
No.
This should be at the usual time slot when the podcast would go live normally on a Monday. However, I am very much aware that we haven't done that for the past 2 months. But hypothetically, it should still be in the same time slot.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Alex, for addressing that. This is because it's the debut of our new format, our new season, season 7, I think, of the podcast. And we're separating the quiz from the main podcast discussion. We thought we'd go live on a Friday. It's got nothing to do with the fact that none of us could get together until today. It's entirely planned. We wanted a Friday night treat. And especially thank you to Martin for making it, because Alex and I were working from home today, and Martin came all the way from, I think it was Timbuktu, was it?
That's the one, Timbuktu.
Africa, yeah. I mean, that's crazy that you had to go to Africa just to pick up some milk. It's terrible how the UK economy is these days.
I know. Yeah.
Oh,
but hey, the things we do. For love.
Doom in the comments says, I hear a puppy, and you would be correct. There is a cameo in the background from little puppy love.
He's always here. Yeah. He's always.
You have to pay pet tax at some point, Martin. You've got to.
I mean, what do you mean?
What? You've got to show it on camera.
I see.
Right.
You haven't heard that pet tax.
No, I wasn't aware of that phrase.
Oh, you haven't had enough work from home meetings with lots of office people with pets.
Yeah. I tend to just say, this bloody dog, which is always funny, especially to people that aren't English on the call. They're like, bloody, that's a very English word you're using. I'm like, yeah, no, it is. Anyway, yeah, the dog might make an appearance another time. He's just sat there. I can see him from here. He's sat on the sofa, just chilled. He's having a good time. Don't interrupt him.
No, he'll join when he's ready. When he's old enough. When he's old enough.
Yeah.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's joining us live, and a special thanks to Cat Jab, who has turned off Friday the 13th Part 5 to join us. I feel so privileged, since if you've made it to Friday the 13th Part 5, it means you are truly committed to that series, and it means a lot to turn it off and watch us. So thank you very much. Thank you. Also, we've got someone viewing us from Mendoza, Argentina. Mendoza, Argentina, nice. Source of my favorite wine, Malbec. So thanks. There's a fact. For anyone who's interested?
I did not know Malbec
buy me a
came
bottle
from this. So
yeah.
I thought Malbec was just like, oh no, I'm gonna. I thought it was like, no, I'm not even gonna say it.
You can.
Stupid.
Okay, you can say it.
I didn't realize that was like the name of a kind of region or an area. I thought that was. Are they all names? I thought it was just a type of wine.
No, Malbec is the grape, isn't it? And the Mendoza is the region.
So it has
to, origin.
But they're all from Argentina, Malbecs.
No, I don't think so. I think you can. I don't think it's legislated in the way champagne is, because technically you could make champagne, but the EU legislated so that to call yourself champagne, you have to be made in the Champagne region.
Yeah.
But technically, you could make champagne in another country. But
so, do you specifically love Argentinian?
I
Malbecs?
do.
Oh, okay. Right.
Mendoza Malbecs are my favorite Malbecs. Yeah, and there's quite a lot of them come from there. In fact, they've all got different labels and different brand names, but they're probably just the same factory, winery making it. I'm speculating badly here. I've never been there. I'm just being completely unfair. But
where in Argentina is it?
Mendoza.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, actually, our lovely viewer from Mendoza. Where are you in the country? In fact, I'm pretty sure you've definitely commented before. I believe. But
your pal Val. I think your pal Val. We've addressed a couple of comments from her. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Before we get completely derailed, I'm going to ask you, fellas, what you learned this week. What did you learn this week, Alex?
Well, guys, I hope you're going to forgive me for this because I've taken some liberties here. So for those of you who don't know, we do a weekly bonus episode of the podcast, like mini episode called A Little More Interesting over on our Patreon. And the recent video that we spoke about were the string of orca attacks that have happened recently with orcas attacking yachts. And this is a completely new behavior that's been learned in the last few years. And it seems like a cultural trend in orca pods. And I just had to share one fact that emerged from that video that I think was just too interesting to not make it on this podcast. This quiz episode. And that was the fact that this is one example of a cultural fad in orcas. Orcas are suddenly attacking boats in different parts of the oceans all over. But in 1987, a female orca in the Pacific Northwest's Puget Sound was spotted wearing a dead salmon draped over her nose.
Nice.
And this became a fad amongst several orca pods over the next 6 weeks. Individuals in all 3 pods in the region, collectively known as the Southern Residents, were observed sporting veils of decaying salmon. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the fish just went out of fashion and the orcas stopped wearing dead salmon on their nose. But for 6 weeks in 1987, several pods of orca were just going around sporting some dead salmon across their nose.
I love that so much.
Probably because it was
that's
cool.
fast fashion, isn't it? That really is.
That's fast
fish fashion.
But I think that's so immensely interesting about like the culture of these animals have like cultural fads. What other animal has that except for humans?
Yeah, it's so weird to think of anything but humans having any kind of fashion,
something like that.
Trends, some kind of I wonder.
So apologies for our Patreon supporters because you would have heard that already, but I just really wanted to share that.
That's a great fact. Thanks for sharing, Martin. What did you learn this week?
Well, I don't really know how to start this fact, but dementia. I'm going to go the serious way. So dementia, of course, is a terrible disease. I could have gone light-hearted. But let's go serious because it is quite serious.
Changing tack.
Changing tone. Exactly, from fast fish fashion to dementia. There are certain ways to trick a dementia patient into safety.
Okay, all right, okay, that ended well. I was worried where this was going.
That could have gone really badly.
I'm trying to weave my way into this, but basically, studies have found, and people that work in care homes have found different techniques to ensure that wandering dementia patients are kept safe. But there are ethical dilemmas about these practices.
Yeah,
and the one that this particular article that I found speaks about is people in care homes painting floor mats completely black and then putting them in front of unsafe areas like steps or exits to the outside that dementia patients shouldn't be going to. And what they find is that these patients won't walk on these dark spaces because in their mind they see them as holes in the ground.
Oh,
right. Okay.
And so then there becomes this dilemma about, well, you're tricking someone with dementia. You're making them scared that they could fall down a hole, but ultimately it's for their own good. And so, yeah, care homes have been using these actually as an alternative or in conjunction with antipsychotic drugs in lockdown units. Sorry, and instead of having to lock down, being able to put these black mats out. So, what I wanted to ask it was, what do you think about this in terms of the moral dilemma? Should you be able to, for someone's own good, do something that's tricking them, potentially making them fearful, but ultimately keeping them safe?
So surely that's tantamount to the kind of thing to do with pets, right?
Yeah, but they're humans.
Yeah.
What do you mean with pets, though? Like, what do you do that's equivalent with that?
Cucumber, cat.
There you go. Sorted.
But that's just to get internet points. That's
true.
I don't think you're doing that for any kind of moral reason. That's just to see their reaction.
I mean, I can't think of I don't have a pet. I've never had a pet, so I don't really know what you do with pets. But I'm sure it's the kind of thing like training a dog. The Pavlovian response. That's kind of the same. Slightly different.
But I don't think you ever lie to the dog. You make it realize that the road is unsafe, but that's because the road is unsafe. There's not a fake mat there. I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, but it's a bit Truman Showy. I'm getting Truman Show vibes from it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And in fact, there are some other tips that this article actually gives to people who are dealing with dementia patients.
Before you proceed, Martin, where was this article from? This
is from Outslive, so an Alzheimer's website.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking it's a legitimate. You haven't been tricked by a prankster online.
No. I'm pretty sure this is.
And if you draw a penis and a Sharpie on their head, they'll feel better in the morning. No.
So yeah, there's some other bits. It's to do with like people with Alzheimer's. While their sight might be all right, their visual perception isn't good. So I'll read out a few. I won't read out them all because there's 10 and it will take a little while, but I'll read out a couple. If the wall behind a white commode and sink is painted a light color, the commode and sink may be invisible to the patient. So paint the wall behind the sink the same behind that same sink and commode a medium tone, and then the sink becomes visible again in inverted commas, allowing the patient to retain their independence for longer.
Okay.
Yeah, simple things like if you place dark clothes onto a dark bed sheet, people might not be able to see them. So it's all about retaining the independence. I think that's the ultimate thing is like, yes, they think that it might be falling down a hole, but actually by doing that, you're not having to lock them up or baby them in the same way because they're actually able to be independent themselves. Patterns tend to confuse dementia patients. For instance, the pattern on the carpet may look like snakes to a dementia patient. A patterned plate may keep the patient from eating. So, be wary of the patterns that you're using. And then there's the black mat. Place a traffic stop sign on the inside of exterior doors. Often the color, word, or shape will reach the patient's mind and keep them from exiting through the door.
Okay.
Reflective tape on the patient's bed in the bathroom, and use a night light so the bathroom path will be visible at night. So just simple, like practical things.
Yeah,
but the one that stood out was definitely the black mat, looking like a hole in the ground from wandering away.
That seems the only potentially unethical one. I think
it's tricky, isn't it?
To me, like that's you're causing fear. The response, the reason why they might not do that is out of fear, and I feel like that's kind of where it gets a bit unethical.
Yeah.
Interested in the comments, I want to shout out James Linton, 17, who says, "I work in a care home. I think something like this could definitely be perceived as unethical, maybe even a form of abuse or restraint. Dementia patients are entitled to go outside if they wish." Yeah, they are entitled to take risks safely, but we have to find the safest ways of supporting them to take this risk.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a very good point. And shout out,
so,
thank you for the comment.
No black mats for you then, James. You won't be implementing these. I guess they are tactics, really, aren't they? Ultimately.
I'm going to be annoying and sit on the fence because I'm not an expert in the field. And I feel like me spouting off my opinions on something I know nothing about. It's probably not a good idea.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I would judge it the way I judge most things in life, which is if I were the dementia patient, would I be grateful for the efforts people put in to prevent me from killing myself? And I think I'd say yes.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you think that it's the greater good.
Yeah, the greater good.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because I think you can get too libertarian in terms of like, oh, you've got to allow these people their full independence and their full rights to do whatever they like, even if it means they harm themselves. Because it's like, well, what about the care home's right to not have to look after dementia patients? What? If a true libertarian society would just let these
where
people,
does it end?
Yeah, to let these people die because natural selection says they're failing. And that's obviously not right. So that's my very extremist view. One extreme or the other, Martin. One extreme or the other. Either no help at all, or restraint and lock them up.
Yes. CJ says, "Is this live?" Well, hopefully that's your answer, CJ.
Yay! Well done.
Hey. And just to let people know who are trickling in, the quiz hasn't even started yet. So welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Come in,
welcome.
Settle in, grab a cup of tea, and we'll be getting underway shortly.
We will.
But Robin,
yeah.
What have you learned this week?
What have I learned this week? I've got an interesting fact. Well, hopefully it's an interesting fact that I learned about the Scottish tourism.
Okay.
Which is a subject near and dear to all our hearts, I know. We love Scotland. I don't know about you fellas.
I'm enjoying a lovely iron brew right now.
Oh, yeah.
Iron brew.
Very Scottish.
Yeah, stay tuned, everyone, because by the end of the podcast, Alex will actually have turned into a Scotsman. He'll have ginger hair, big beard, be wearing a kilt. He doesn't even own a kilt. It'll just grow on him. The more iron brew he drinks, the more Scottish he'll become.
That's how it works.
It's a fact.
That's how it works.
It's a fact.
Hair just gradually turns into one of those novelty orange wigs.
He'll spend £100,000 on a campaign van, which he'll park outside his mother's house for 2 years. Wow, that's a deep cut
Lots
for anyone who's ignorant. Lots of people might not get that reference. Yeah,
that is a reference to the SMP corruption scandal.
Anyways, it's summertime, and one of the pleasures, and I mean that ironically, about summer that I enjoy is insects, and especially insects that bite, and Scotland is infamous for its midges. Right. Yeah, especially in the Highlands and Islands, which is the best part of Scotland, but it's rife with midges. And apparently midges emerge at the end of May and start dying out in September. So from the end of May to September, that's when it's midge season, and midges like to drink blood. And
lovely.
So studies show that they've estimated, that for every 2 square meters of ground in Scotland, there'll be about 500,000 midge eggs. So,
what?
Yeah. So theoretically, in the area of land that is known to be inhabited by midges, there could potentially be up to 181 trillion midges.
What? Wow.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, isn't it?
No, some zeros have got lost in there. There's too many zeros. Someone's put the decimal place in the wrong spot. What? That doesn't make sense.
No, I think so. But that's kind of how insects work, isn't it? They spam. And chickens. They just keep laying eggs until some of them hatch. Enough of them hatch, statistically.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't think there are 181 trillion midges, but statistically that is possible. But that's not the fact that I found and thought was interesting. The Scottish Forestry Authority estimates that 20% of working days in Scotland are lost due to midge attacks.
What?
Yes.
What? 20%?
20% of working days.
1 in 5 working days.
Yeah.
Someone's...
Because of midge bites.
Midges?
Yeah.
It must be constant.
I don't understand.
So,
what do midges even do? You just walk past them and they're like, oh, and then that's it.
They bite you, and then you get
annoying.
a really bad irritation from the bite. Some people can have very bad reactions.
Wow.
I mean, I still wonder how the reaction could be so bad amongst so many people to lose 20% of working days, but we'll see. But the real rub is that apparently...
Knew any of this.
No.
Apparently, it's estimated that Scotland's tourism industry loses around £270 million every year due to people staying away from midge-infested territory.
Really?
How do you calculate that?
You do surveys.
How do you figure that out?
Yeah, you do surveys for...
Mad.
Are you avoiding this for any particular reason?
Yes.
Midges. I don't want to be off work for 20%. I don't want to be off work 1 day a week.
These are some mental statistics.
Don't you love some good stats?
That's crazy.
But yeah, that was what I learned this week.
Scourge
amazing.
of Scotland is not the English. It turns out it was midges all along.
That's why the Highlanders are always trying to, they're always at war. They're just trying to get away from the midges. Like, we need to get to new land away from the midges. Hey, let's invade England. Hey.
Wow.
Never worked. Because 20% of them were ill with midget bites whilst they were campaigning. That's why they always lost.
Yeah. That's only slightly more accurate than the movie Highlander.
I love that. Like, where are you from? Lots of places. What is your accent, mate? Christophe Lambert. Anyway, so now that we've dealt with facts that we've learned, fellas, would you?
Oh, actually, Robin.
Oh no! What? Yep.
Captain Monkey says, did it mean of the sick days, 20% were midges? That makes more sense than 20% of the working days.
That would make more sense, but I lifted the quotation from the article and it phrased it as 20% of working days. Yeah.
No, that can't be. Surely that can't be right.
I mean, I agree.
That's more than people's holiday. Way more than people's holiday allowance is gone by midge bites. That sounds insane. I mean, 6 weeks off for midge bites.
Also, that wouldn't even be like this wouldn't be a tourism article. The tourism's the least of the problem. If they're losing 20% of all working days,
that'd be 70 days a year.
Like across the board.
But it's only during mid-season.
Okay.
So it might be not as bad. Well, it's still bad, but just not as bad. But yes, I agree entirely. Thank you, Captain Wonky. I literally just quoted the article, but I have no idea if the phrasing should be more informed than that, because it was on one of those medical journals with the abstract, taking
those
the
medical
abstract.
journals notoriously inaccurate.
DrNick.com.
Anyway, fellas, would you like to do a quiz?
Oh, yes.
Yes, please.
Welcome to the quiz. Oh my gosh, something weird's going to happen on screen right now.
Oh no!
You swap places,
no.
and you've got points already.
What?
Oh dear! Someone forgot to check their settings when they were doing the live.
This has gone wrong. Oh, I'm winning. That's fine. Let's just leave it at that.
So whilst I correct those mistakes,
and there's already points on the board.
Please do feel free to play your buzzers. So, what kind of buzzers do you have?
Who wants to go? Shall I go first?
You go for it. Yeah.
So I've gone new season. Who's this? It's Brian Butterfield as my quiz buzzer.
Treat day. For 24 hours, you can literally eat anything. Pizza, birthday pie, pints of cream, pork cylinders.
There you go.
Yes,
Anyone who
Brian
hasn't seen
Butterfield. The Butterfield diet plan.
Butterfield diet plan. Saturday is treat day.
Well, there's definitely a culinary theme because I've gone for someone else in that space.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That was Gordon Ramsay's "Where's the Lamb Sauce."
Was that planned? Did you coordinate these quiz buzzers?
No, we didn't.
We did not.
No.
Well, then we're not going for our classic ones today.
Yeah.
We're not going for our usual.
For our big debut of the quiz, Just Interesting Quiz Live.
Well, I was saying to you guys before we started, when we were talking about the quiz. Oh goodness, thank you, Gordon. That I throughout the week I often think of or find other things. I'm like, that would be a great buzzer, fantastic. And then I never make a note or write it down. And then by the time it comes around, I'm like, Delia, fine, it's Delia. So just trying to mix things up a bit.
Yeah, I'm pleased because I've settled now into my standard set of buzzers. And I'm constantly struggling to come up with new ideas for new buzzers. So thanks for bringing something new to the table. And of course, you two will not be the only participants because this quiz is live. And everyone in the chat, feel free to join. When I read out the question, the first 3 people to type the correct answer into the chat can give themselves a point. And we work on the honor system and we trust you to keep score. Obviously, we do actually keep track, a kind of mental note of who's roughly in the lead. The challenge is, can any of you in the chat beat Martin or Alex and honorably win the quiz at home? Obviously, only one of the two of Martin and Alex will have a point on the scoreboard at the end of the quiz, the leaderboard. And at the end of the season, whenever that may be, someone will not get to take home a trophy. Because the trophy is still...
Since season 3,
No.
season 4, Martin's had the trophy
the
and
Royal
refuses to
Mail-
give it up.
The Royal Mail must have lost it because I may or may not have sent it
Yeah.
to one of your address.
Do you remember who needs
What's your address again, Alex?
Just say my address live right now.
Yeah, exactly. What's your address?
Just say it live, yeah.
Number 1, Edinburgh.
1 Scotland. Number 1 Scottish Road.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
Palace of Holyrood House.
It's fine. I mean, Alex does deserve it first because it's not like I won the last season, is it? No, nothing.
Robin did win the last season.
Yeah, you
So
did.
Alex has been waiting for it,
Robin.
I think, for 2 other seasons. I can't remember now.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
but we
think
can't
so.
do that.
No.
I think we need a new trophy for this season. So let us know in the comments what should be the trophy for the season. And,
The trophy
maybe
that we
we'll get it
currently
sorted.
have is a cup with Orson Welles on.
Yeah,
the iconic
hasn't been
Orson
seen in
Welles.
years. Literal years.
Just so
at
you
this
know.
point.
So that's the kind of thing we're thinking of. So yeah, any suggestions?
COVID. Guys, it's COVID. It's dangerous for me to send you the trophy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Got to think about these things.
All right then. Well then, let's get on to question number 1. Hope everybody in the chat is ready, and I hope you two have your fingers on your buzzers.
Oh, yes.
Question
Indeed.
number 1. It's a sports question,
Oh.
but don't worry. It's
No,
not,
no,
it's
yeah,
not a tough
it's
sports
not-
question.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not specific. I mean, it is specific. There's only one answer. But beyond that, in which outdoor sport would you use a mouth guard,
Potato grids, artificial bacon.
a stick,
Yeah. Do I have to press it
and
again?
I heard Where's the Lamb sauce first.
I was going to go for field hockey.
Is the incorrect answer.
Okay.
Oh, what?
A mouth guard, a stick, and a puck.
Large Max.
Yes.
Ice hockey.
Correct.
Whoa,
Is the
no,
correct answer.
you said outdoor sport.
You did
Yeah.
say outdoor sport.
It is an outdoor sport.
Outdoor sport.
Can you count it as outdoors?
So what is in-
Professional
It's
ice hockey
inside.
is inside, but ice hockey is that's its origins, and casual amateur ice hockey is outside. Can be played on the lakes.
I suppose it would have had to have been.
I mean,
yeah,
that's quite a red herring there.
Sorry to confuse you.
I will take.
You
The,
did well,
I
though,
will happily
to-
take the point. There.
You did well though to get hockey from just mouth guard and stick. That was good.
I was thinking mouth guard. It'd be too obvious it was rugby.
That's why I paused. I was hoping someone would buzz in and be like, rugby. I'm like, nah, darn it. No. So who got that in the... Oh, interesting answers in the chat.
Yeah. I think probably people might be
Dromerson
outside.
throwing absolute shade at you there, Rob. Terrible question, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, the first 3 people to give the answer that I was looking for were Rory, who said ice hockey, and that is the only person who actually said ice hockey. But we had a couple of hockeys, so the first 2 people to say no, Rory, you get the answer. No one else does, I'm afraid. Especially Kilgore Trout, you said hockey, and then put a hockey emoji, but with a ball, not the ice hockey one. Sorry about that. A lot of people said lacrosse. Good suggestion, actually, lacrosse, but no pucks in lacrosse. And yes, lots of people commenting quite correctly that ice hockey is often played inside. But as Rocket Summer says, it's an outdoor sport during winter. Well said.
Unless the lake hasn't frozen over, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, in the era of the Anthropocene of climate change, it's no longer an outdoor sport in winter. But it might be an outdoor sport in summer if the seasons flip. Who knows? Okay, moving on to question number 2 in this perfect and flawless quiz that so far has got off to a rollicking start. So the answer for first question was ice hockey, because it's a sport that's played with a mouth guard, a stick, and a puck. And in which Shakespeare play would you meet the character called
Official bacon. Large
Puck?
Max.
Yes.
You name it. Sandwich
Alex.
Castle.
I believe that would be A Midsummer Night's Dream.
And you would be correct in your belief.
Oh, well done.
Well
Bloody
done.
Very good.
hilarious.
Did you know that, Martin? Would you have got that?
No, I don't. I haven't actually ever read that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the one with I couldn't tell you the story of A Midsummer Night's Dream, but I remember going to see it when I was really young. And, finding it funny, although looking back, I probably didn't understand.
Didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
I
was laughing a lot.
I find
I think
Shakespeare's
it's
comedies.
a lot of slapstick humor.
Yeah, I was going to say Shakespeare's comedies I find incredibly boring to read, but actually when you see them perform, they're pretty great.
Oh, it's different, isn't it? It's very different.
Totally different. Yeah,
It's very different. I think there's also a lot of people that are like in the audience who are in the know, and then they're like ha 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 ha, and there's a little bit of pretentiousness there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're just
Like,
yeah.
I know this, but I've seen this before. I know why this is funny. It's like, is it actually funny though? Is it just meant to be funny so you're laughing because it's supposed to be funny? Is it actually funny? No.
I mean, Shakespeare's PR team is the best ever because he's still going all these years. They must be working from the afterlife. I don't know how he pays them.
He does well. He does
very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
still
He's done
studying.
he's done pretty well for himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Not bad.
It's
Well,
not exactly Fast and Furious, but I mean, it gets the job done fine.
It's like kind of Tokyo Drift level.
Yeah, I'm sure.
at least Shakespeare
No, I
can
wouldn't
claim
say
he's intentionally funny. Way.
Ooh.
Anyway, in the chat, who got A Midsummer Night's Dream? Most people, in fact, but the first
Yeah.
three
Very good.
were the Jagman 22, Rory, again, 2 points to Rory, and Doom. Well done. And everyone else, well done. You all need the answer. Well done. But I'm afraid those three got in there first. It's all about speed. Don't do drugs. Question number 3. Which river runs through the city of Oxford? Oh, man, that was...
Imagine this balloon is a yellow stain.
No, I don't want to imagine James Yellowstone.
Wait, I know that advert. Is that
You don't have
hissmile.com? That's Australian thing where
What
they
is
put
it?
the purple liquid on your teeth and it goes white. I've been bombarded
Right.
with that advert for the last few weeks. Everything I do on YouTube is that advert. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm not sure who buzzed in there.
It was definitely. I didn't buzz. It was Martin.
You didn't buzz?
Oh, did I not hear? Okay.
I didn't buzz at all.
All right, I thought I heard both of you. There's so much noise on the Gordon Ramsay one. I thought it was 2 buzzers simultaneously. Okay,
Oh,
Martin.
apologies.
Which river runs through the city of Oxford in England?
Is it the River Thames?
It is the River Thames. Well done. Well done.
Fine, fair play.
In fact, isn't
Can
the
I tell you?
source the
Can I
Thames?
The
tell you something?
Thames.
Yes.
I'm rubbish with rivers. Rivers is probably my worst topic. Like, whenever a river question comes up, I always dread it because it's something I should know, but I'm
Okay.
just rubbish. Who knows what rivers are?
What about waterfalls?
Oh, I'm pretty great with waterfalls. Give me any waterfall.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
How about
No.
ponds? Garden ponds. You all right with that?
Garden pond. Yeah, pretty good.
They're kind of middling. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, in the chat, first 3 people to get the correct answer, Thames, were Hey Now Paulie, Kieran Foster, and the Jagman 22. Ooh, Jagman 22 and Rory tied with Alex on 2 points. Well done.
Very good.
So 2-1 going into question 4. Fingers on buzzers. Closest wins. Actually, yeah, you don't need a. That's the opposite of fingers on buzzers for closest wins. Not necessary at all. Okay.
Okay, closest wins.
Closest wins.
Okay.
From how far away in miles can wolves hear other wolves howl? From how far away in miles can wolves hear other
Chocolate
wolves?
quail's eggs, garlic pudding, fluffy ruffs, hot
Yes, Alex. Oh, dear.
Can they hear other wolves howl?
Yeah.
I don't know where it can't be that far. I don't want to go ridiculously far. I'm going to say 20 miles.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good. That's good. That's kind of what I was thinking too. 20 miles too far.
That is mental.
20 miles. It's
But
quite
then
far.
also,
Isn't it?
is it going to? But I could also see the answer being something like 100 miles or something.
Yeah, like, the wind's in the right direction.
They've got those elf ears.
Damn, like that's.
Legolas's elf eyes, but on their ears.
My initial thought was maybe even slightly further, like 25, maybe. Let's go 25. No, yeah, 25.
You're going for 25 and Alex is going for 20.
Yeah.
Alex is closer. It's 6 to 7 miles.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, that makes
We
way more
overestimated.
sense.
Rules are rubbish then, aren't they? Yeah. Terrible. Only 6 to 7 miles. Sort out.
I mean, you think there must be circumstances, when they're at the peak of a mountain, howling into a valley. Presumably, it would carry a bit further, but at the same time, 6 to 7 miles is quite far.
It is a long way.
That is a
yeah.
long distance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and kind of terrifying because now that you know roughly how near the wolves are, if you can hear them howl, you can't pretend. Oh, it's 20 miles away. It's fine.
Okay.
You're like, yeah, it's probably about 6 miles.
Yeah.
Crap.
Cool.
Crap.
But
Well-
in fairness, if I heard wolves howl, I don't think I'd be like, don't worry, they're 20 miles away. I would probably think they're a bit closer than that. Yeah.
Well, someone got incredibly close in the chat. Kieran Foster got 7, guessed 7 miles, which is spot on. The answer was 6 to 7 miles. Well done. Lots of people. Wow.
Wow, nice.
Really interesting variety of guesses. I guess Rory guessed 8 miles. So Kieran and Rory you can take points, and then a bunch of people guessed 10, but I feel bad giving you all points. So just give yourself a point if you guessed 10. Well done. But anyone above 10, I'm afraid you're too far out to get a point. I'm afraid. So going on to question number 5. Yes, 5. I can count.
Yeah, that's right.
Which singer holds the record for the most number 1 singles in the UK?
In the UK.
The quail's eggs, garlic pudding.
Oh, that was definitely
That
simultaneous.
was very close.
Martin.
Outrageous. No.
Singles is. I'm going to go for. Michael Jackson.
Not Michael Jackson, actually.
Michael Jackson, is it? No.
Yeah.
Can I have a guess?
I've got
Yeah, of
3 or
course,
4
yeah.
different options.
I reckon maybe Adele. Let's go Adele.
It's not Adele.
Okay.
I'm not sure she's actually released enough singles to catch up to this person.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, that's interesting. That's a clue. Means they're older. Who have we got? Paul McCartney's done a few. Elton's recently been in the news, hasn't he, with his Glastonbury performance?
It's
Harry
Elton,
Styles.
isn't it?
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
Elton. No, it's
Elton, yeah, let's go Elton.
It's
Mr.
not
Elton John.
It's not Elton John.
Ah,
Yeah, I tricked you, Martin. I definitely didn't think that.
Grits, artificial bacon, large macs.
Yes.
I'll go for another one that you said. Maybe, yeah. I was thinking this initially. Maybe Ed. Is it Ed
Oh.
Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran. No, a lot of the chat have gone for Elton John and Ed Sheeran, but
Oh, really?
it's not. No.
Um,
So it's the most number 1 singles. It's not the number of copies sold. So that's
Yeah.
where Ed Sheeran will
Oh,
probably
what
win.
about-
But it's to do
what
with
about
number.
what about Cliff? What about Cliff Richard?
Ah, good guess, but no, not Cliff. But he seemed unstoppable for a while, didn't he?
Yeah.
So the most number ones. And
Yeah,
it's a
number
singer.
1 singles. Yeah.
Um,
Someone in the chat does have it.
oh my gosh. I don't know. It wasn't Michael Jackson. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, actually,
No,
just think
pass.
about-
Pass.
think if I can give you a good clue.
Yeah, is there a clue?
Good clue. They're not British.
Okay.
But they
Not
have-
British.
They're not British, but they have
Oh,
the most number
okay.
1 singles in the UK.
Oh, right.
oh.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
Yep.
What about Mr. Elvis Presley?
It's Mr. Elvis Presley.
Damn,
Well
that's
done.
good.
Well done.
Yeah.
And only 2 people, I think, in the chat got that. That was Kilgore
I
Trout.
wouldn't have thought to go that far back for it, but yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, Rocket Summer. Well, the thing is that with Elvis, they keep re-releasing his songs and they keep
That's true. Yeah.
keep going to number 1. So he's still current. He'll never go
Mr.
away.
Elvis Presley.
So yeah, Elvis Presley with 21 number 1
Wow.
singles. Yeah.
Wow.
Runners up are
Yeah.
the Beatles with 17.
Really? More
Yeah.
than the Beatles?
I
That
know.
is surprising, actually. Because I was thinking we were thinking specifically of solo artists, right?
Yeah,
Was the
because I
question
said
solo
singer.
artists?
Yeah, I said singer.
Singer. Yeah.
But actually, yeah, he's well ahead
Yeah,
of the
but-
competition. Is all
Yeah.
Elvis. Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
But and ironically, I was going to make a joke and say I doubt the Beatles will be able to catch up with Elvis, but actually, Elvis is dead and he's still getting number 1s. So they could. It's possible. If Paul really wants to challenge that record, he might be able to do it. Goodness knows how,
Yes.
but he might do it. Okay. Jagman 22 points out, 21 singles died on the toilet. Life is strange. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Indeed.
no one's immune. Yeah.
And then I guess Monkey Monkey 1235 says Kiss ? Which I guess is
The band.
Are you a bit behind on the
Gene-
live stream? You're not.
Gene
Is
Simmons.
that an order?
Yeah. Was that a request or a guess? Not sure. You might want to refresh your page and catch up with the live stream. All
If
right
you
then.
want to see that, you have to subscribe to Robin's OnlyFans, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I don't have an OnlyFans, by the way. No one fall for that. if you see my face attached to an OnlyFans account, which I doubt you would, but if you did, it's not me. Just saying.
Deep fake.
Yeah, it's all AI generated, just like this episode of the podcast.
Imagine that.
Yeah, we'd be quite impressive if we were responding to the chat as effectively as we are.
That would be that would be
pretty
very
good.
impressive.
Very good. Okay, question number 6, and it's 3-2.
3-2. Okay.
Mm.
To me,
So-
right?
To Alex, yes.
Okay.
So, question number 6.
Okay.
What is the largest ocean in the world?
Cream, pork cylinders, potato grips.
I heard Brian Butterfield there.
I could be wrong. I think it's the Pacific.
You would be correct. It is the Pacific.
Yes. Nice.
Oh,
Very good.
Nice, thank you.
were you going to guess that too, Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's the biggest blue space on the map when you're
A massive expanse. Yeah.
I don't often find myself looking at globes though, so I don't know why I thought Pacific, but I think I've heard that before. But it's not because
Yeah.
I've been scouring maps. I think I've just heard that in another pub quiz or something.
possibly one of our
before.
quizzes. To be fair, it's
Possibly one of ours.
Yeah. I'm sure it must have come up at some point.
been. My wife did challenge me the other day and said, "If you're struggling for a quiz, why don't you just grab the first quiz you did and see if Alex and Martin notice?"
They remember,
And I
yeah.
said, "It's a good point," but no,
That is true. Yeah.
we won't do that. Not that she would ever condone cheating or anything like that. She said it as a joke. She said it as a joke. Okay. Sorry. In the chat, so, everyone got Pacific. Well done. But the first 3 were the Jagman 22, Rocket Summer, and Christian Bazinet. Well done.
Nice,
You entered
well
with
done.
Christian. Well done. We've got quite a few points now accruing amongst members of the chat. Well done. So, question number 7. Which famous scientist said, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind"? Which famous scientist said,
Oh my gosh.
"Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind"? Is that you, Martin, with the Gordon Ramsay?
Scientist is quite a broad word. I mean, like, I don't know. Albert Einstein? Don't know.
Yes, it was. Well done.
Great.
Cool. Well done. I like that. You know that already. You've got encyclopedic knowledge of his quotes, and you're just trying to be like, "Oh yeah, science is a bit of a broad term. Is Albert Einstein?" Well done.
That's ridiculous.
In the chat, we got Doom, Rory again, and Hey Now Paulie. All got extra points for Einstein. Lots of other people spiffing. I'm not gonna indulge spiffing by reading out your answer. That is not an answer. I said
I've
scientist.
got to have a look
Okay.
now.
You said Boris Johnson. That's just not right.
Oh, okay, right.
It's not even a thing. But yes, it could have been Newton. It could have been Hawking. All excellent guesses, I think. But it was Einstein. So moving on to question number 8. Ooh. And it's 4-3 to Alex, but it's close.
Ooh, close.
Excited.
Yeah.
Martin could take this. Ooh. Okay. Question number 8. And it's the closest wins, so you don't have to have your fingers on your buzzers.
Okay.
How many independent countries are there in Africa?
Independent countries.
Yeah, it's countries that are recognized by the UN. There are some.
Right, okay. We're going to have a stab in the dark.
Artificial bacon, large max. You name it.
Based on, I can see Martin counting. I'm not going to count because I'm not a nerd. I'm going to say 31.
Oh, damn you.
Ooh, mine's
Why are you always... Oh. South Africa, Swaziland, Madagascar. My initial thought was 27 for some reason. 27 was in my mind.
Well, that's
Are you
the number
thinking
of
of
EU
the
members,
EU?
isn't it? Yeah.
EU members.
Yeah, probably. Is that too few? There's lots on there. There's lots.
I think I might have underbid on this one.
30. What do you say? 31?
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it's about right though. And so I took 27 and 34 in my mind. 27, 34.
I mean,
was
we
thinking
thought
of-
20 miles, Martin, and we were way off. So
I'm just thinking of like when I've had to create policies for YouTube for geo-blocking, and sometimes it says like Africa is a continent, and then I've had to copy across a list of African countries.
Oh, right. Okay.
How many are there usually?
Yeah.
Maybe it's more. Maybe it is more.
yeah,
Would you say 31?
yeah.
I think 34.
34 is going for his high
34.
numbers. Martin's guess is
Playing a
34.
bit safe though.
Alex's guess is 31.
Not really going out there much.
Do you want to know who's closer? The person who's
Yeah,
closer
go
is Martin.
Oh,
But still a bit of a way off. It's
Oh, really?
55.
oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, quite
55
well.
countries in Africa. I mean, think about it. It's big enough, I guess. But there must be. It did make me think when I got a list. I could read it out to you if you like. But I won't. Don't worry. Because I was just like, there must be so many I don't know of. I could name 10 maybe.
Yeah, I suppose there are going to be a lot that we haven't.
What can we
really
go for?
aren't
What
too
there's-
familiar with?
Two. I mean, we can have a go at listing them all if we want to.
We could be here a
That
while. There are
probably isn't going to
55.
be the most interesting.
So in the chat,
That's our Patreon specific.
yeah. This week's Patreon exclusive episode is us listing African countries. But Disturbed Jaws guessed 56,
Oh wow, you're very close.
as did Christian Bazinet. So you two could definitely get
Nice.
a point. And your pal Val
nice.
guessed 54. So you three definitely get the points for being the closest
very
and
good,
the first
very
with the
good.
closest answers.
Very good.
A
very
few people
good.
guessed in the kind of 50, 60 region. Well done. And yes, there are many small countries, I guess, that we just don't know about because, weirdly enough, the British school system doesn't care to teach about Africa much. Can't
true,
think why.
yeah. No,
Can't think
don't
why.
really.
Oh well. On to question number 9, and they're tied at 4-all. Who's going to get the point? This could
Wow.
be a close one.
Okay.
Okay. Following up on African countries, how many African countries' names begin with the letter U? And it's not a closest wins.
Sandwich casserole, chocolate quail's eggs,
Yes,
garlic pudding.
Begin with the letter U.
Yes.
I can only think of one.
I know, right?
I'm going to say one.
You're correct. It's one.
Yes!
It's Uganda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
I was trying to think.
I
was
thought it was.
Uganda,
I was thinking,
what
is this a
else?
trick?
I mean, in a way, it is a trick question, but yeah, no. Yeah, the answer is Uganda. Well done.
Very good.
And who in the chat got that one? A few people, actually, yeah. The Jagman22, Christian Bazinet, and Yopal Val, again, were the first people to guess one, but a few other people did too. Well
Nice.
done. Well done, gang. So,
done.
on to the final question, and it's 5-4, which means Martin could tie. He could tie, and then we're down to the tiebreaker. This is going to be
Don't
tense.
do it. Just don't do it.
It's gonna be
Martin.
tense.
Don't bother.
Question number 10. This is just for Martin.
What's
No,
next?
no, of course, no, this is for everyone. This is for everyone. Fingers on buzzers. In which museum would you find the Rosetta Stone? I think that's Gordon Ramsay. So yeah, Martin.
Would that be the British Museum?
It would be the British Museum.
Of course, it's
Well
the British
done.
Museum.
Were
There's a
you,
whole faff over it, wasn't there? Still is.
still is, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you less sure, Alex, or were you going to guess that?
No, I didn't know. I was going to guess like somewhere in a country where it belongs,
Like
but,
Cairo.
yeah.
But no. Well, but as soon as Martin said it, I knew like, oh yeah, of course that's
Yeah,
it.
we can go see it. We should probably should make an effort to go to the British Museum in the next couple of years before everything goes away back to where it belongs, the way things are going. Okay, so We're tied. We've got a tie.
Wow.
Got to do the tiebreaker.
Wow.
What an
Tiebreaker
excellent
in the first
start to
episode.
the season. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. But before I read out the tiebreaker question, let's see who got Rosetta Stone, well, the British Museum in the chat. And it was Kilgore Trout and the Jagman 22. Oh, and Roosie J. They guessed British.
Oh,
but I
nice.
guess they
Well
meant
done.
British Museum. A few other people. Yeah, everyone's on the right tracks. But I guess if you don't know, you don't know. It's one of those questions, isn't it? Useful answer. Robin, stop talking.
It's also one of those things where, as cultured as I am, I probably couldn't list a huge amount of museums.
Yeah.
Don't know a lot of them.
I mean, there's tons in London alongside the British Museum. Those are little ones, which I
An
really want
island,
to go
isn't
to.
it?
Yeah.
Big stuff. Okay, are you ready for the tiebreaker?
Oh, yes.
Or the deciding question? We're coming back. So I wrote this quiz weeks ago, and apparently I've impressed myself. I'm like, oh, we're circling back. I thought I planned this. Closest wins. How many of Elvis's number one hits were released after his death?
Oh.
Okay.
Would you like me to go first on this one, Alex? Because
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
That's very sporting of you.
I know you've gone for the last few. There's definitely an advantage with going second. Out of how many did it say?
21 is his total.
21.
So if you guess higher than 21, I would be you're probably losing.
My initial thought was 7 or 8. I was thinking 7 or 8. So let's go for. That's quite a few, actually, isn't it? A third. About right. 7. Let's go 7. Yep, 7.
Okay, Martin's guess is 7 number ones after his death in the UK. Alex, what's your guess?
I'm going to go higher than that. But I'm not going to take. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Martin.
Don't say 8.
I'm going to say 8. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. If it is higher, I'm not going to take any chances. But it's probably going to be. It's going to be lower anyway because, karma. So.
Well, the correct answer is and has been staring you in the face for the last couple of minutes because the answer is 5.
Oh,
so Martin's closer, and
what?
Martin scores 1 more point than Elvis's number one's released after his death. Well done,
for
Martin.
God's sake.
And that makes.
Why has it been staring us in the face? Because that's our current point score.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, for goodness
sake!
That means the first mark on the chalkboard goes to.
Oh no,
Martin.
Oh, good quiz, Robin. Good quiz.
Because you
good
won.
quiz, Robin. Well done, really great.
The best. Yes, wonderful.
The best. Well, lots of people in the chat guessing lots of numbers, but I think I saw someone get spot on. Yes, they did. It was Ben Smith guessed 5.
Well done.
Spot on.
Very good. Well done, Ben.
And then we got a couple of Doom guessed 6, and then Spiffing guessed 4. So you 3 were the first to get the closest. So well done. Give yourselves a point. So luckily, I think no one in the chat scored higher than either of you, fellas. So well done.
That's very, very kind of you.
We do have a bit of an
that.
advantage in that, like, one of us is going to get a point.
Guaranteed, yeah.
It's true.
Guaranteed.
That's true. But then, we potentially could have got the answer right, but the other person's quicker. So it takes away your chance of actually being in the top 3 in the chat. So
I suppose
both
that's
ways
true.
in some ways.
Yeah.
But it's basically like doing 2 different quizzes, isn't it?
The Jagman 22 in the chat says, Alex, console yourself with a fried peanut butter sandwich. I've never ever heard of that. I don't know. I could go with that. That sounds sounding good to me, brother. Is that a thing? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, because the Scottish deep fry everything by stereotype. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've heard of deep fried pizza and deep fried chocolate bars of most sorts.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jagman22 says it's an Elvis thing. Apparently.
Was that when he was found?
He did like that, didn't he?
Was he found with that when he died? Maybe. Who knows?
Where was it? Wrapped around his.
Oh no.
Tongue.
Oh right.
Oh dear! Don't go there.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Filthy fellas. Well,
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Hey.
Yep.
Does that mean he slept with dogs? What?
Or a horn dog.
Ain't nothing but a
Yes.
corn dog shoving up my bum. That's the new version.
And with that,
we're going to release
with
that
that.
single. Christmas number 1, Elvis's remixed pornographic version of his classic hit.
that'll
Ain't
be
nothing but
number
a
6.
Horn dog.
We can't end the quiz like this. Let's
No,
move
we
on.
can't. Let's move on. Thank you all for joining us for our first solo, as in first dedicated live stream to the quiz. This will be the format going forwards. I hate that phrase. Sorry. This will be the format from now on. We'll be doing live stream quizzes, and then the podcast discussion will be uploaded separately for your delectation and delight. Thank you all so much for joining us. And a massive thank you to our Patreon supporters and YouTube members, all of whom are wonderful people that make this channel possible. So thank you so much. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.